couple of people that wrapping up a KT, so they'll get over here shortly. So if you're wondering where Haley is, that's where she's at. Um, but so tonight, right, we're going to talk about a few different things tonight. I want to really kind of tonight show you guys who Hector Lamarck is, right? And Hector is going to be our guest speaker at the September Builder School down here in Florida. Guys, this is a big deal. It's a huge deal. And so a little bit of backstory on Hector before we kind of get into some of the training tonight. I really want you to understand like how important it is for you no matter what. If you can't be here in person, just just get a freaking ticket and I'm going to show you a way to do that over the next, few weeks, like a couple days, whatever, ideally next couple days where you can either get it heavily discounted or you can earn it and get it for free. Okay? Because I mean, everybody likes free or everybody likes a discount. Either way, right? And so I'll show you that tonight, but I really want you to understand who Hector is. And we talked a little bit about it last week and coming out of ECBS, the Builder School, for those of you who haven't been yet. He's a legend. And he's not just a legend in Primerica. Guys, he's a legend inside of like Grant Cardone's industry. Does anybody not know who Grant Cardone is? Multi-millionaire, billionaire, real estate mogul, uh, 10X, right? That whole sort of like series, that's Grant Cardone. And so Google, right? Just kind of like Kurt Signetti, Google me, right? Just Google Grant Cardone. He's kind of a big deal. But Hector made such an impact and he built such a massive empire in about 9.5 or 10 years that, and this is real. These are real numbers. In about 10 years of working, around year 10, Hector's wife got sick with cancer. He basically pulled away from everything and said, I will not miss a minute with that woman. And she lived for like another 20 years because they had a very, very significant income in order to get like all sorts of medical treatment that is not very available to average people, right? And that sucks to say that, but that's reality. So she lived for another 20 years, guys. And she lived until 2024. Hector sort of like came out of retirement after almost 30 years and he showed up in Hawaii. We were there for the trip in Hawaii, and he came and you would have thought Michael Jackson was resurrected and walked across the stage like this standing ovation this guy got. That's what a big deal Hector is. And to give you an idea of the amount of income, you're talking about somebody who's been paid on average about $3 million a year for 30 years, not doing anything in the business. Guys, his income in the last 34 years is $94 million. Like that's insane. Like there are like companies that don't make that much money in income. Well, when you've got roughly 500 regional vice presidents, right? So Hector's got 500 of me. Think about having 500 McDonald's franchises, 500 Chick-fil-A franchises, 500 State Farm franchises. I don't care how you want to think about it, but that's what it's like, right? So he's got 500 of those all across the country. 16,000 licensed agents. Guys, Hector has more licensed agents than State Farm. Think about that. And he built it, and it's his. And it's going to pay him forever, and it'll pay his heirs forever. It's a perpetual money machine. Once it's built, it can't be stopped. It can't be undone. It's sort of like a rocket ship, right? When if you've ever watched a rocket ship take off, it takes a lot of fuel to break gravity, right? Once it's up in the atmosphere, though, does it take any fuel really at all to stay in orbit out in space? No, because space is frictionless. There's nothing, there's no drag. So the only thing it needs is like a little but once it's going, it's perpetual motion and it's going like 20,000 miles an hour. That's your Primerica business once it's built, right? The problem is most people think it's built before it's actually built, and then they stop and they quit doing the things that got them there. So that's what we're never going to do. But guys, that's sort of Hector in a nutshell, right? So let me pull this up. We're going to talk about a few things. I want to remind you guys kind of like we're up on some timelines here. It's come like we're coming up on month end, and we kind of got to get a little bit of urgency kind of like back in. right? So let me get this up and running. Oh Lord, it always says this to me. If I don't hit the share button on the Zoom first, and then I hit the presentation, it hides, and I can't do anything with it. Okay, here we go. Now we're cooking with grease. Okay, so announcements, not much has changed, right, since last night, or last night, since last week, right? The $39 IBA is still in effect for a few more days. That's going to end. So, month end officially for us in terms of production that counts for January is midnight on February 2nd. Okay. So, that following morning on February 3rd is like the first day of actual February production. So, our goal every month at a minimum, like I'm talking like bare bones minimum, is 20,000 in premium and 20 recruits, 20 new agents, right? Or prospective agents, I should say. Well, right now we're at about 18,500 in premium and 18 recruits. So can we go get two more recruits and another like one like max case policy? Well, yeah, I mean the answer is yes, but I don't want to have to do it myself. I will if I have to, but that's where like some form of like self-ownership of the business guys has to start kind of kicking in, and fighting for something that's a little bit bigger than you kind of has to take over at some point, right? You got to be a part of a crusade, you got to be involved in something. Well, here's another reason to kind of get involved. If you have somebody that you think may be great in the business, think they might be great, do you think they would rather pay 64 bucks to get going and get started and get licensed, or 124? What do you think? You think they'd rather pay half or full price? Because one thing I can almost guarantee you is that come February 3rd, when that month clicks over, this $64 discounted IBA gone. It's 2 months in a row now that we've had a reduced cost IBA. I I will bet you $100 that next month it's back. It may not be back to 124, but it's going to be higher than 64. I promise you. Okay. So if you have anybody that you even think remotely would be great in the business, guys, who do you think about it like this? Who do you know that's money motivated that you have not talked to about getting involved yet? Put in the Zoom chat. I know somebody's got somebody, right? You know somebody who's money motivated. You know somebody who's great with people. You know someone who's a just amazing like connector of people. Well, that person's a great prospector, whether they realize it or not, right? They know somebody. They know somebody. And they'd be probably kind of mad at you if you talk to them on the third instead of the second, and you say and you bring it up, right? And you go, man, I could have got you this for 64 bucks. And they go, Sean, are you mad at me? Did I do something that you want me to pay an extra 60 bucks? Right? Don't do that to somebody. If you think they have a shot at all, right? Like a snowball's chance and you know where, talk to them now. Generate some urgency. Because I promise you, here's the other thing that happens with this. You will start February exactly where you ended January. Let me say that again. If you're going, oh, I'll just, I'm so tired. I'll get it going in February. No, you won't. No, you won't. You need to get your butt in gear right now. That way you hit February running. Because if you wait, it ain't happening. It ain't happening, right? A decision has to be made. And so if that decision's tonight, good, right? But I promise you, you will start February, exactly where you ended January. So I want you guys to go into the month with some momentum. Let's finish strong. Okay. And so this hasn't changed. Guys, when you bring somebody into the business, get them into their app within the first 24 hours. Primerica is going to give you 50 bucks, bank as a credit. If they finish their pre-licensing within the first 30 days, it puts another 50 in there. Now, this one down here, I don't know if this one will come back in February. It's not an all the time thing. It's an incentive, right? Primerica throws out these carrots. They see if people move for it. If nobody really moves for it relative to before, well, they're not just going to throw money away, right? You can't expect them to give people a free 50 bucks if it didn't really like move the needle in terms of licensing or incentivization. But we'll see. Maybe it'll come back. Okay. So here's like the flyer for Hector, right? And for the East Coast Builder School. So you're going to have 7 different $1 million a year plus earners, all speaking from stage. Hector's obviously is the like that's that dude is that's the dude, right? So he's going to have probably four different like big 30-minute blocks ish of speaking time. Guys, I promise you, this thing, once it hits like Gen Pop in terms of the word getting out, this is going to sell out. It will, because Hector doesn't do this anymore. He might do like a one-off on a Zoom for an old friend, right? Or one of his like RVPs that he's had for 30 years kind of thing. He does not show up to stuff like this anymore. I promise you. Okay. So I have bulk tickets. I'm going to walk you through sort of what that looks like and why, if you haven't gotten a ticket yet, just text me and I'll show you how to do it with 20 bucks versus like 27. Okay. So here you go. This is what it looks like when you click the link to go to get your ticket, right? This is what you would fill in. Your rep ID goes here. My information goes here. I'm your regional vice president, right? And this is my rep ID. If you did it right now without the coupon, that's the price. Some of you are smart. You did it back when it was 20 bucks, but right now it's 27 and 16 cents with all the processing and blah, 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 blah. Right. Back to this slide. I bought 25 tickets. And since I've got an in with the guys, right? I got them at $20 a piece. And so I will give them to you what I got them for. I don't do this to make money. I do it so that you guys can have a way to not pay $7 in like processing fees. You with me on that? And so that's what I did. So I put 500 bucks out to get to secure those tickets. And so now we have an extra 25 tickets that are at the lower cost because the price will keep going up, right? The price will keep going up. But if you need a ticket, if you don't have a ticket yet, text me. Don't go buy a ticket, right? Text me first because I'm not just going to give out the code to get it for free because then all of a sudden I'll be down to like 10 tickets instead of 25, right? So if you need one and you don't have one, text me. We'll work on that. And oh, by the way, you could also earn it, right? You could also earn it. We're going to do it two ways for this end of January production. You can get it if you're brand new, or even if you're not, right? You can get it by setting 5 client appointments. Okay. Client appointments. You can get it by setting 5 client appointments, or if you close one policy in this next 4 days, right? Unlicensed, licensed, doesn't matter. And so even if you're in training, right, and you close a policy and it counts for production, right? Because I'm trying to incentivize to move the needle, I'll get you a ticket for free. Fair? Does that work? I mean, it's just an incentive, right? It's just a little something. But that way you for sure lock in your spot. And don't worry about if you can't make it in September or not because you're not sure about your schedule. We got a lot of time. Also, worst case scenario, plug in on Zoom and listen, but actually block the time on your calendar to listen and like plug in and pay attention. And then the absolute worst case scenario is you get a recording of the entire thing. Okay. But our goal for this September is to have 50 from our team in person. Okay. This past one, we had about 15. I want 50. We've never had that many people before. The most we've ever had, I think, was 18. So yeah, it's a big goal. It's a big stretch goal to get 50 there. But I want 50 in person of ours. We always have the most people in person, guys. Right. So that's my competitive nature kind of coming out, but I want to set a tone. And I want to set a tone for 2026 that we're here and we're serious. Because if you can commit to come into something like that, it shows that you're serious. And then, oh, by the way, next July, not this coming July, but the July after, we have convention in Atlanta in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You'll see probably it's the 50-year anniversary, guys. You're probably going to see about 75,000 Primericans descend on Atlanta, Georgia. And we take over Mercedes-Benz Stadium for about 4 days. It's insane. So start planning now. Okay. Start planning now. All right. Now the good stuff. Let's see if this actually loads. I put these in here, but I already have them pulled up just because I don't know if they're actually going to load or not. But I want you to kind of hear some Hector. Okay. So this is, let me make sure this volume is up. All right. Here we go.
Do just enough to get fired.
Hold on. Here we go. Of course.
Primerica was the perfect business for you to make, your dreams come true.
Most people in jobs, they do just enough to get fired. The owners pay them just enough so they won't quit. And everybody's doing just enough, but they're not focused on being great at what they do. In my opinion, you need to focus on being not good, but great. I think good is the enemy of great. Well, I don't care what business you're in. If you have a total commitment to be great at what you do, money's going to flow to you. People are going to want to do business with you, and they're going to want to be in business with you. And I just think the number of people that make that focus and stay on that until they get there is very rare. I met the people that were doing it. I said, if they can do it, I can do it. Other people within your business are having success. You need to, instead of being jealous of them, you should be asking them how they're doing it, and then model and mimic their behavior. It's not that complicated.
What was in your
And he's right, guys. It's not that complicated. And it can be absolutely infuriating and frustrating in this business because when you've been around for a minute, you know that it's not a complicated business because it's actually very simple. But the problem is it involves people. And people are emotional creatures. And they tell you one thing and then do another. And whether that's an agent that came in and said they were going to do something by a certain time and didn't do it, or they just ghosted you and they don't talk anymore, or it was a client that said, "Oh, this is amazing. This is exactly what I want." And then the next time you reach out, it's like crickets. It's an emotional business and it's a roller coaster, right? But you can smooth that roller coaster with your skills. And I promise you, you have to get to a point where you've skilled up and you sort of become invincible, right? And so this is Hector and the seven fundamentals, and I might have to loop this, but let me see.
First thing is prospecting. You got to become a professional prospector. The second thing is setting appointments, because once you prospect, you got to set the appointment. Without the appointment, you can't do a presentation. Once you set the appointments, you got to have a great presentation, a question-oriented, tie-down oriented presentation, and then overcoming objections. Well, that's obvious. They're going to say things. People are going to say, well, I don't make a decision on the first appointment, or, I need to talk to somebody, or whatever it is. You need to know how to overcome objections. You need to master all the products. You need to know how our life product works, how our securities product works. Maybe now if you're doing loans, how does a loan situation work? And then recruiting. You got to learn how to recruit at the kitchen table. I recruited 99% of the people I ever recruited, I recruited them at a kitchen table. That's the seventh, is getting a new recruit off to a fast start and filtering them. And that's what you're looking to do.
So guys, those are Hector's seven fundamentals, and that is the simplicity of his entire business. That's what he built everything off and around. And so here's the red line fundamentals, right? I paused it on the video, but these are the red line fundamentals. And so you'll notice that the first seven are the exact same. They're the exact same. Guys, listen, this is a copycat business. And as soon as you figure out that you're copying the right cat, you just keep doing it. You don't change. You don't change a winning recipe. Why would we copy anybody besides somebody like Hector? 10 years of his life and it's paid him forever, right? But the last one, right? The eight, and I love that Andy added this. He didn't take away, he didn't change the first seven, but he added another one. And it's mastering the big event and it's growing meeting attendance. Guys, if you've noticed, right, over the last few weeks, our numbers on just these meetings have gone from like 17, 18, now we're in the low 20s. By the time we hit next week and the week after, I would love for us to be consistently in the 30s. Why? Because that means we're growing, and not just growing and recruiting, it means we're growing and retaining great people. Okay. And that's really the goal, because if we never retain anybody, well, God bless, then you're just sort of doing it, right? And you kind of get on that hamster wheel and you kind of start spinning your wheels and you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over and over, right? Does that sound familiar? That's not what we want, right? That's not what we want. So let me pull this back up. Let me get going on this again. And one of the things that Hector always sort of like just hammered on was the fact that he had to turn his car into a classroom. How many of you guys right now have a commute, right? You work somewhere, you have a commute. It's more than like 5 minutes, right? Like you don't drive down the street. Like, I mean, Chastity, like how far do you guys drive to work? Like one way every day, or every day that you go to work, I guess, right? How long is that drive? Hour 15. Lord, Lord, you're telling me you got a 2.5 hour commute daily. I challenge you. I challenge you. Turn off the radio, turn off XM, Sirius, whatever you got going on, and you turn on your classroom. Listen, you should be filling your brain and pumping your brain with nothing besides self-development, books that are going to make you a better closer, books that are going to make you better at sales, books that are going to make you better at life. And if it's not that, it needs to be something business related that's going to keep your mindset sharp around the business, right? Think about right now, like on your commute, right? For 45 minutes, Josh, hour and 15, Chastity, what would your life look like? Think about how many books you could get through. Hell, girl, you could get through Grant Cardone's Sell or Be Sold in 2 days. You could get through the entire Tom Hopkins Art of Selling in 4 days. Think about that. Think about that. In a week, you could crush two of the most important books you will ever listen to or read. Oh, sorry, Michelle. Chastity, did you not respond? I could have swore Chastity did. Michelle, there you go, right? I think Chastity's got a like crazy commute too. She got at least an hour. My point being, guys, you have to turn your car into a classroom. It's the only way. It's the only way. And if you listen to Hector stuff, you go back and just Google him, right? Let's just listen to some of his stuff. He had to develop and build a great presentation that was built around a questions-based sales approach. Oh, by the way, that's he got that from Tom Hopkins, right? And then he had to figure out something that was duplicatable with a bunch of tie downs where people told him the answers. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Have any of you ever listened to Andy talk? Right? That's exact, guys. This is how this was built, right? This is not on accident. Ian took it from Hector. Ian took it from Assad, who took it from Hector. Like it's all there, guys. The blueprint is there. Like it's sort of like your lineage and family tree. Like you could trace this all the way back, right? But look, think about this. You are the only one that can self-develop. You. I can't self-develop you, right? Julia, I can't come to your house and put your AirPods in and start your phone for you and say, sit down because you're not a child, right? I can't even do that to my own kids. But you're the only one. And guys, think about like, and this is not about like some silly resolution. This is not like, oh, like this is what I'm gonna do, X, Y. Z. No, no, it's about making a decision that I am going to be better tomorrow than I am today. And only I can figure out what the heck that's gonna be to like move that needle incrementally a little bit. Because if you're not growing, you're what? Somebody tell me in the Zoom chat. If you're not growing, you're what? You're dying. You're dying. So you have to be getting better, right? If you're not moving forward, you're backsliding. We don't want backsliding. So look, these three books, guys. I mean, I don't know. Andy always says he doesn't like to read. I do like to read. If you look at my nightstand, I've got like three different books sitting on the nightstand right now because I read a bunch of different crap. But I also listen to things because this is how I compress time, right? So Sean and I talked about this last week when she was like, "Oh, I heard this guy say he compresses time and he don't got a time machine, so I got to figure out. You got to figure out ways to do more than one thing at once, right? You can compress time. I can walk in the morning and listen to a book. I can walk in the morning and listen to my, Series 65 or SIE or 6 or 63 book, whatever, exam you're working on. You can do more than one thing at once, I promise, right? Walk your dogs, listen to some sort of like self-development growth podcast or just listen to somebody positive, right? Do some sort of devotional in the morning whatever that, whatever your higher power, whatever your God, like for me, Jesus, right? Like, so like I talk to God in the morning when I'm walking my dogs and then I'd like focus that time. But that's me. I don't know what that looks like for you, but only you can self-develop that. And you have to protect your time. Okay. You have to protect your time. These three books, I promise you, if you listen to these and not just listen, right? Not just dabble, and you can master the content, you'll be unstoppable, but you have to start saying the words out loud. Okay. Now, here's another. I'm gonna put these out. I've got these for you already, right? So these are some great audios, and there's a couple of YouTubes in here as well that I would love for you guys to listen to because listening to them is going to start putting it into your brain. I tell you right now, the first 30 days or so that I was in Primerica, I guess like 22 days because I was licensed and appointed inside 3 weeks, right? And so appointment setting and this recruiting presentation, They're just audios. You don't have to watch them. You just need to listen. I listen to those, and I'm not even kidding, because back in the day, I used to have that commute, Michelle, right? My commute in the morning was about 50 minutes. My commute home was about an hour and a half in traffic, in Tampa traffic. I had 2.5 hours roughly every day, right? The appointment setting audio is about 47 minutes, and the recruit presentation is about the same, 35, right? Guys, I could get through that twice a day. This was back when we didn't have a script for recruiting, right? That's why I sound a little different than the script because I like it's burned in my brain. I can't change when it comes to that, right? But you need to listen to these things, overcoming objections, right? Come back to one of the fundamentals, and it's overcoming objections, right? Oh, it won't show it because I got the full screen up. Lord, right? I need to just take a picture of this. Stop. There we go. But look, right? Overcoming objections. Number four, mastering it though. You need to get so conditioned to anytime someone objects to you and comes at you with bad news, the first thing that you say is amazing, right? Matt calls me and says, "Oh my God, Noah, all my people quit. They all hate me. All my policies charged back. Dude, that's awesome, right? They quit so fast. At least you didn't waste a bunch of time. I love it. Let's go get new ones." Because think about it. If I sort of entertain Matt and I come down to his level and now we're both going woe is me and we're like, ooh, and we sound like Eeyore, did I do him a favor? No. Doesn't do Matt any good for me to meet him where he is down there. It does Matt a ton of good for me to go down here and go, get up here, buddy. Cool, great. Who cares? Let it ride. Let it go. I don't care. Right? We don't quit on people, Matt. They quit on themselves. We will never quit on good people. And I'll never quit on a bad person. They'll take care of that themselves. I'm still here. I'm still me. I'm the same person no matter what. It doesn't matter. And you've kind of got to get that in your brain. And it's hard. I promise you it's hard because you will want things for people more than they want it for themselves. And that creates a disconnect in expectations, right? You have misaligned expectations. And that's hard. And that's why whenever I sit down with somebody, especially if I've never met them before, I'm doing an orientation or something, and they're in the business and we've never met, I always ask them, what do you want? What do you want? Because I made the mistake very early on of thinking everybody wanted to be me, and everybody doesn't. Some people, guys, they just want to come into this and they just want to make an extra 500 bucks a month. They just want to make an extra couple hundred bucks a month. Well, that's drastically different than what I wanted. And I was trying to push them and pull them as if they were me. And you can't. You got to meet people where they are. You got to give them the tools and then see what they're going to do with it, right? The right person is going to say, hey, coach, I got it. What's next? Not, oh my God, you're telling me to do something else. I've heard all I need to know. Hey, listen, I love it. See you on the meeting, right? You ain't the one. I'm moving on at that point, right? I'm not quitting on you, but I'm moving on to somebody that wants it, right? So for those of you, if you get a text message from me and you even think it's just like an automated like bot, well, guess what? It's me sending you the text message. Yes, I use a reach app because I'm not going to sit here and text like 89 people over and over. But it's coming from me. And the ones that respond are the ones that I know that are engaged and the ones that I know that I can help because they're actually responding, right? And guys, you're like all of your leaders use that too because they're copying me, which is what they're supposed to be doing. All right. So I'll get those out to you. I'll get those links out when I'm done. That way you have them and they'll be in Telegram, right? For those of you that aren't in Telegram, are you in it and it's just muted and you're not seeing it? Or are you just not in it, not getting notifications, not seeing? Because if you're not seeing it, then put it in the Zoom chat because we got to fix that because that's where everything's at. Okay. Now, Teachable. If you're not in Teachable, put it in the Zoom chat. If you've never gone in here and you've never gotten registered and you've never seen this, right? Let me know because we need to get you in here. It's in the new agent text that goes out. It's there. I don't stress it as much in the beginning because I want you in your license, right? But once you've kind of gone through the licensing side, or if you need some sort of like your own like refresh on different things, right? Whether it's overcoming objections. The new associate orientation has a ton of different modules on appointment setting, and they're broken down into like little snippets, so it's easier to do, right? Mastering prospecting, recruiting, kitchen table, mastering the kitchen table, right? These are important things, and these are free to you, right? If you're part of the red line hierarchy, you can do them as many times as you want. There's no cost. It's free. But this is how you get better. This is how you skill up on your own, right? This is how you skill up on your own. And everybody knows who Kobe Bryant is, right? So guys, Kobe, like I think it was like the summer of his like middle school, going into high school, or maybe like going into eighth grade or something. He was like 13. He went an entire summer league season and made zero shots, no points, no points, right? If you didn't know that story and somebody told you that, you would probably go, that's BS, right? Kobe he ain't missing, not even in middle school. He did. He didn't make a single shot. But what did he do? And he was scrawny, he was skinny, and he got pushed around. And he said, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to outwork everybody. I will outwork everybody. You show up at 6, cool. I've already been here since 4. I already got 2 hours in." And he said, "If I do that for the next 3 to 4 years, I will have such a massive head start on everybody else that they'll never be able to catch me. They'll never be, because I've put in double the work for that amount of time, and now I'm that much farther ahead. You will never catch me because I'll never stop doing it." That's the difference. And that's this business, guys. And so we give you all the tools. It's all there. And I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, and it's like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? You want me to get my license? You want me to set appointments? You want me to do this teachable thing? Right? It can get overwhelming. I know. And I'm sorry to tell you, but the short answer is in the beginning, you got to do it all. You got to do it all. You have to just turn on the fire hose and figure out how to drink. It's going to be messy, and you ain't going to get all the water, but you're going to get some. And as long as you don't turn off the hose, you'll get more. And as long as you keep coming back, you'll be able to drink more, right? I know it's a weird analogy, but drinking out of a fire hose, everybody can kind of picture that. It's going to make a friggin' mess, but you're going to drink, right? As long as you don't close your mouth, you're going to get water, okay? So if you don't have Teachable, we'll get you that. I think Angela or Haley or somebody is putting this in Telegram right now. So please, guys, go to Telegram, right? There's also a forcing function to get you into Telegram, right? I think iPhone 2, no, it's not Julia. Who is iPhone 2? I don't even see iPhone 2 on here. I see everybody's names. Anyway, I don't know. There's weird stuff going on in Zoomland. Next. Next. Okay. So this was an old one from appointment setting, but I wanted to throw this back out here, guys, right? So appointment setting contests. We always do it because, as Andy likes to say, right? Like lightning strikes twice in Primerica. If somebody offered you this once and you got close, well, great. Do it again because I promise you there's still a whole bunch of people on that list that you haven't talked to yet. And if you made a wedding list once and you did it with your trainer and you're like, "Oh man, I didn't really understand what was going on," and there's a bunch of people that I put on that list that are just absolute duds. I wasn't even thinking clearly here. These are the studs. These are the ones that we need to go talk to. And so when we're talking about these appointments, guys, the way I want you to think about it is like this. And I'm going to stop the screen share for a minute. I really want you to think about like two sides. One, who would you want to have with you in the business? Right? That's a recruit. But think about it. Who do you know that is money motivated? Who do you know that is great with people? Who do you know that is, a teacher, they're technical, they can sort of duplicate a process. Maybe they want to make some extra money, right? But those are the ones that you kind of want to have with you in the business. Also, who's just fun? Who's fun? I don't like, I mean, it might sound kind of crass, but I don't want to hang around a bunch of duds. I need energy, right? Fountains and drains. You guys remember that talk I did a while ago, right? Fountains and drains. And if you don't, I'll give you the like a brief synopsis. But yeah, it was a good. I know it was fire. That was a good one. This was probably one of my best ones. Fountains and drains was a good one, and I'll come back to that. But guys, like those are the ones you want in your business with you. who do you want? Like if you could pick one person right now that's not in business with you and you could choose to have them with you, who would it be? Who would it be? I got one in my mind right now and I'm going to talk to him tonight. I'm telling you. Because and it doesn't have to be somebody that's like, oh, that dude could sell ice to, Eskimo or whatever, like people want to say. Well, that ain't the trick, right? Eskimos don't need ice. I'm gonna sell them an ice maker. You sell that cat an ice maker, now you getting somewhere, right? Because he's got ice all around him. You don't need to sell it to him. You need to figure out how to show him how that ice isn't good enough, right? And he needs your ice. That's sales. That's different, right? And I know I kind of keep bringing it up and I keep saying it, and I keep coming back to it. I keep saying sales, sales, sales. Well, guess what? At the end of the day, we show value and a client moves forward. But in that showing process, guys, you still have to be great at sales. And I know nobody wants to talk about it. And everybody thinks this is like dirty S word. It ain't. Like it is a skill that can change your life forever. Because in commission land, there's no limits. There's no limits, right? Now you might not make any money for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden you make a grip and you forget about those 2 weeks. That's that welcome to sales, right? Welcome to sales. But really what I want to kind of focus on tonight is from the appointment setting side, guys, like it's still pretty simple, right? All it takes is a phone call and a conversation. All you have to do is call somebody, be genuine, set the appointment, right? I'm gonna bring it back up. Y'all gonna make me do it. I know you are. Hang on. Hang on. Because you know, right? People don't believe what they hear, they believe what they see, right? They believe what they see. So I'm gonna bring up the appointment setting little flow chart again, just because I like that one. It's simple, kind of puts it all in one place. Eventually we'll share. There we go. Guys, look, here's your flow chart, right? This is about a 3 minute max timeline. Small talk. Hey, Didi, how you doing, girl? You good? Yeah, family's good, baby's good. Awesome. Everybody's doing awesome. Hey, listen, the linker, right? The reason, right? The reason I wanted to talk to you, I'm working on I got a new side hustle. I'm working on a new thing. You probably saw it on Facebook, right? I think you'd be amazing at this, and I would love to show it to you. I think you'd be great, right? And right, that's if you want to recruit somebody. If you want to sit down and talk about the like business side, you want to show them, or not the business, but the client side, you want to show them what it's like, then hey, listen, I just need to get some training done, and you're one of the first people I thought of. I would love it if you could help me out for like 20, 30 minutes on a Zoom call and just take a look at what we're doing. And if you and right, your spouse can use it, great. And if not, it'll still really help me out. Right? This is the close. So listen, as far as us getting together, when's better, right? Tomorrow or Saturday? We got some urgency and it's a yes, yes option. Okay. Tomorrow or Saturday, right? Hey, perfect. Like tomorrow, listen, what do you want to do? Like afternoon, evening? Evening, right? Because I kind of need you and Bob there, right? So, because if Bob's not there, I don't get credit for it. Listen, do me a favor, be logged in on the computer. I actually kind of need you to be able to see this. It'd be better. What's the best email I can get this to you at? And then boom, and you're the one that has the calendar open for whoever you're setting the appointment with. If you're setting it with me, Haley, Jen, Matt, it doesn't matter, right? But have that appointment calendar up. That way you can set the appointment. And if you're using your own calendar, perfect. You're setting your own appointments, amazing, right? But the goal, guys, the goal is you should be only setting your own like personal appointments for a short period of time in this business. And once you've started to duplicate and you start training other people, right? As they're coming into the business and they need to get training, who's going to be setting the appointment? They are. They are. As long as you teach them how to do it. And that's the trick, right? That's the secret sauce. You have to be able to duplicate and you have to be able to show someone how to do it. Otherwise, the odds of them actually connecting the dots between what you're telling them and what they actually need to do without having seen it are very, very slim. How many of you guys could right now pick up a new skill with me just telling you how to do it, right? If I handed you a guitar and I said, Matt, hold your fingers like this for a G, and I need you to finger pluck, right? I need you to go G, D, back to E, slide down here, right? You're going to slide a bridge really quick, and then do it, and then come right back up. It's going to sound amazing. You couldn't do it. I couldn't do that, right? It took me like 3 weeks to figure out that stupid little chord progression, and I still suck at it. You know why? Because I didn't put in 10,000 hours. I'll never master it without the time, right? You need reps and sets. It's like going to the gym. You need to say this stuff out loud, guys. You need to call. Listen, I promise you right now, if you put a call for help in Telegram and you say, "Hey, I need to practice appointment setting. Is anybody free? Can I call you?" Somebody's gonna say, "Call me." I don't know who, but somebody will say, "Call me," right? Oh, by the way, you should probably just start with the person that brought you into the business and who's training you and whoever did your orientation. That's a great way to do it. Just call them. Call them, right? If you text me and said, "Hey, no, I need to practice appointment setting. You got 5 minutes?" Absolutely. That five will probably turn into 15. So be warned, because I'm gonna train you, right? But if I got time, I'm gonna give it to you. Why? Because it doesn't do me any good to keep it all up here. I don't want to do this forever. I want to duplicate myself about 12 more times, right? And then start helping the hierarchies grow. That's what I want to do, right? I don't want to be an agent forever. I'm really good at it, but I don't want to be an agent forever. That's not the way this goes, right? Always be closing, guys. And so, listen, that's about 20 minutes out. That's about what I wanted to get through. But here's my challenge to you tonight, right? We've got the rest of tonight. So tomorrow's the 30th, 31st, 1st, and the 2nd. So we've really got 4 full days remaining. What I would like everyone to do tonight is go back to that wedding list that you wrote, that wedding list, and rewrite it. Rewrite it. And I'm challenging everyone to get 25 names on that list. Okay. And when we go back and we write that list, I want you to then go down and qualify the list. Here's what I mean by qualify, right? We use a scale called Macho. And so on that scale, everybody gets a point, right? You get a point for one, married, age in a certain range, children, homeowner, occupation. If somebody hits 5 points, right, that's sort of like the gold star, right? That's the best you can get for a client, right? If somebody has 4 points, that's okay too. They're still a client. So the only way to get 4 or 5 points is to either be married or have kids. Married, spouse, baby daddy drama, sing like live together, share bills, that y'all got kids together. I don't care if you got a piece of paper that says y'all are married. If you live together and you share bills and y'all got kids, you're married, right? Period. And so don't get hung up on, oh, well, they live together. Well, it's a fiance. No, they're married, right? So either married or kids or both, that's a client, right? That's a kitchen table appointment first. If they have 1 to 3 points, imagine a 19-year-old kid with no spouse and no kids of their own that's living at home. Well, that's probably someone that would be a recruit. But if you get in front of that kid, you should be getting in front of their parent because their parent is going to see value in making sure that that kid gets an investment started and that kid also gets at least a small life insurance policy in place. Because they're so young and healthy, it ain't ever going to be cheaper. That's how you leverage different markets, right? You bring somebody in the business who's a grandparent. Well, guess what they have? They have adult children and they have grandchildren. So does that grandparent, right? Are we focusing on their market? Not necessarily. You're kind of going one generation down because that one generation down are the ones that we really need to focus on because they're the ones that you can have the biggest marginal impact on. Does that make sense? Right? You get in front of somebody who's in their early 30s and you show them the power of the rule of 72 in investing and how much money can compound over the next 35 to 40 years, and you can have a massive impact. Versus you take that same $100 or $200 a month and you do it with somebody who's 60, you get like one doubling period, maybe. You lose that compounding period of time. So that's sort of like the way to start thinking about markets, guys. But look, I challenge you, I promise you, if you do this, we will have an explosive end to January. and we will launch into February on a trajectory that you haven't seen in this brokerage in a hot minute. Here's my dirty little secret. The February is the seventh, is the middle, right? It's the fourth month of the 7 months of contest competition for the Best in the West for the Colorado trip. Okay. For those of you that have been around for a minute, you know that Primerica is going to do a reset. Well, let me cue y'all in on what the hell I'm even talking about. And the reason Primerica does this is because they want people to fight and compete for the slots that are available. Okay. And so what happens is if you, and listen, this hasn't been announced yet, but it's never not been announced in the middle month. You with me? It's going to be announced, right? I'm actually going to pull up the old competition scoreboard from Marco Island if it still exists. Oh, it doesn't. It's gone. Okay. So hold on. I'm gonna pull up mine. Here we go. I'm gonna show you why we're talking about this here really quick. Right. So this is the Best in the West competition. Okay. This is for the Colorado trip. This is the RVP and above category. Look at all of the different categories over here that you can compete in this and win. So like brand new, just got a license. You're not competing against regional vice presidents with tons of people. That's not fair. So the RVPs compete against RVPs. Okay. But just for giggles, right? We'll just click number one. So look at the months that you can qualify: November, December, January, February, March, April, May. We all agree that's 7 months, right? Because what Primerica does is the last month of the previous trip becomes the first month of the next trip. So that way it gives us 7 months. Because what happens then is in February, or that middle month, the fourth month in the competition, there's going to be an announcement that says if you do like one by one personal in the month, you're either going to get reset to the last place winning in your category, right? Or if you're already earning the trip, you'll earn an extra 150,000 builders production points. And if that sounds like Greek to you right now, that's fine. Just know that you need to fight like hell to get either reset or get the extra points. I promise you, it will make a difference. It will make a difference, right? And I'm telling you, listen, February, everybody needs to do a one by one. Everybody needs to have a direct recruit, and everybody needs to have at least 1,000 in personal premium, whether it's training premium as a unlicensed agent or you're licensed and you write a policy. I promise you, it's coming. Okay. I'm getting you ready now. So get going on that momentum. Get that thing done within the first couple of days, right? Because that's what we need to focus on. Because who doesn't want to earn a free trip for two to a five-star resort? I'm in, right? I'm in. I'm pumped for Colorado. Listen, I earned my first one like in my first year in the business. We were the like future MVP. We were the number one regional vice presidents. I don't know if I can hold on. Can you guys see that freaking jersey hanging up there? Yeah. So what you can't see behind that Lions helmet is that it says MVP, right? So we were the number one. We were the number one, and we were speaking on stage. Guys, it's crazy. But get a vision for that because it can happen. It can happen, but it can't happen if you're doing it alone. You have to build distribution, right? You have to build distribution and watch how easy, not easy, right? But watch how quickly the compounding can happen, right? So let's just imagine it's you right now, you're all alone. Look, go get three. You go get three people. One, two, three. This isn't rocket science, right? It doesn't take a whole lot. You go get three people. This is you. Now, when you go get those three, what are you supposed to go get them? Three, right? Three. Don't make fun of the drawing, right? But one, two, three, you get it. So now, right? You started with you went and got three, and you went and got all of them three. How many do you have? How many do you have? How many new teammates do you have? How many new markets are you in? How many people are you working with for premium? Well, you were always there, Sean's, but 12, right? 12. Most people forget these first three and they just say nine. But yeah, but you got 12 people, right? So think about this, right? We're not working with addition. We're not working with addition. We're working with multiplication, right? 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 again, right? Because that'd be these 9 down here, right? Times 3 again equals what? 27. Times 3 again, 81. Times 3 again, 243. That's what happens when you stop playing around with addition and you start teaching multiplication, and you can duplicate yourself and you can be in more than one place at one time. Okay. Primerica is not a complicated business. It's actually quite simple. The problem is most people won't do it. Most people don't do the work. They don't, right? Somebody asked Hector, and I'm going to close with this. Somebody asked Hector one time at convention, one of the last times he was there, like chase him down, right? Hector, Hector, like, hey, oh man, you're amazing. How can I build it like you? And Hector very calmly turned around and said, "Did you make your 25 phone calls today?" It's a simple question, right? It's yes or no. It's yes or no. And the guy said, "Well, no, but I this and that." It was a yeah, but. It was a yeah, but. And he said, "Look, if you can't do the simple things, right? If you can't do routine things routinely, you'll never do the big thing. You can't because you don't have the commitment to do the simple thing." But again, back to the whole like only you can self-develop yourself. I can't hold you accountable. This isn't a job, and I ain't your boss, right? And I'm not here to motivate you. Motivation is fleeting, right? Motivation is fleeting, guys. I can't motivate you. I mean, I can get you fired up a little bit. I can give you some great knowledge. I can give you some pump, right? But I don't want motivation. I want discipline, right? Because if you're disciplined and you're consistent, you'll win. I just don't know when, but you will. Because if you consistently do the same thing and you do the same thing, eventually you're going to hit a breakthrough. And I know some of you are going right now, well, no, that's the definition of insanity, right? But no, it's not because you gotta roll with it, right? You gotta roll with it. So listen, guys, make those lists tonight. I challenge you to make those lists, get them out in the Telegram so we can see it, get them to your field trainer, and then let's get together tomorrow and let's set some appointments and let's crush this weekend. All right, let's crush this weekend. Webb's got the the fountain talk out there. Go listen to that. That's a good one. I'm probably gonna go listen to myself, right? Just to remind me sometimes who I am. 'Cause-
Hey Noah,
yeah,
I know I'm not on you guys' Telegram, but I'd love to listen to it. So is anybody able to
I'll
run?
text it to you. Yeah,
Okay, thank you so
I'll text
much.
it to you. Yeah. Were you not, you weren't there?
I'm sorry,
You weren't at that ECBS?
which one?
I don't remember which one that was. May?
I've been at every ECBS. I've
Girl, you
missed
heard it.
nothing.
You heard
I
it.
probably got it, but yeah.
That's all right. I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Don't worry. All right, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Mel told me to wrap it up, so that means I'm rambling. I'm gonna go.
Hi,
Love you guys.
Mel.
See you. Bye.